Okay, I know I said that we were going to do 2 videos a week this month, but in my defense, my words kept getting stuck in my throat. The words kept getting stuck in my throat. The words kept getting stuck in my throat. We saw this 2 weeks ago and you don't even remember what I'm referencing. How can you forget that? Oh wait, I think you actually left at that moment because we were eating dinner. And I think during that entire 5-minute musical number, you were in the kitchen taking care of stuff. Yeah, so hey, we're here today for KaiJUNE. In which we are going to be reviewing giant monster movies all month long. And yes, I did say we were going to do 2 a week throughout this month. We're still going to hit 8 movies this month. Just they might not be divided up exactly like that. But yeah, so this is our second movie. We've got 6 more that we're going to do this month, so don't worry, that is still going to happen. But last time we talked about movies from the 50s, so we're moving up a decade to the 60s. This is one that I have been hearing about for so long because this is one of those cult classics that so many people talk about. I know that Guillermo del Toro talks about this a lot, but Guillermo del Toro talks about all giant monster movies, so that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't make you special. But Quentin Tarantino talks about Brad Pitt talks about it a lot. There's a lot of big name people who are actually huge fans of this. So I've been wanting to watch this for a while, and now that I've watched it, I see why it would get the cult following, because there are a handful of things that are unique about it. But there's also a lot of other things that I'm like, okay, this feels like a giant monster cash grab at points. Okay, the first thing that we should say about this is that this is called War of the Gargantuas, but it's called that in English, which this was an English and Japanese co-fusion production. It was an American studio that was giant monster movies are big right now. We're going to Japan. We're going to make some movies over there. And they made 3 films. We'll talk about the first one in a little bit, and I don't even know the third one. But this one was called Frankenstein's Monster, Sanda vs. Gaira in Japan. And the reason why it was called that in Japan is because this is a sequel to the film Frankenstein versus, Frankenstein versus Baragon, which I know Baragon as a Godzilla monster. So apparently,
is this a spin-off or something?
Is it within the same universe, or did the Godzilla studio just grab Baragon and take it? Because then you got the Frankenstein monster over there just ready to go. And that's why it's called Frankenstein in Japan, is because in the original one, the big monster little thing was called Frankenstein. So I think they just called it that because they were like, hey, this is an American production. Granted, technically Frankenstein, I think, is a European one originally, but we made the movie Frankenstein in America.
It's in English.
It's in English, yeah. So I think they were just we gotta give it a name that people in Japan will recognize, but also sounds English. We'll call the monster Frankenstein. And that makes it so weird because in this film, every time they refer to the monsters, they keep referring to them as Frankensteins, which that's another thing that we should point out. There have been multiple different dubs of this film. So in the original dub of this, they didn't even want to reference that this was a sequel. They wanted to try and split and make it its own thing. So they just kept calling them Gargantuans. But then they keep vaguely referencing the first film. And in the dub that we watched, they still vaguely reference the first film. They want to make it feel okay, this could be tied to that, but you didn't have to watch it. You can go into this fresh. But in the dub that we watched, they did keep referring to them as Frankensteins, which is so weird. Mm-hmm. Because in our minds, it's okay, Frankenstein is the doctor and the monster. It's those guys, that's who they are. We know that, that's exactly who they are. But they're in here just referring to any giant monster as a Frankenstein.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the protagonist monster, they kind of made it in a lab or so in a way.
But it's just the way that they keep referring to. It'd be like if we made a giant monster movie, but we kept referring to all giant monsters as Godzilla. Mm-hmm. That's a proper noun. That's not how that works. So yeah,
because usually when you think of Frankenstein, you think of a monster that's made of several body parts. So I don't know, if I heard that there was a kaiju movie called Frankenstein, I was did they just take a bunch of monster parts and like make their own monster to fight off the other monsters?
That sounds kind of cool, actually. I'd watch that. But it's also, no, my big problem isn't that, okay, they're calling this monster Frankenstein. It's they're calling monsters, the general concept of monsters, Frankensteins. It'd be like if I called all women Michelle, and it's like, all right, do you see how that get weird real quick? See how that might be a problem at some point. But yeah, so this film, from the moment it starts, like, I didn't know that this was a sequel. I was aware of the other film, Frankenstein vs. Bargon. I didn't know they were connected to this. So when we started watching it and they started referencing that, I was like, hold up, I'm sorry. I had to stop in the middle of this and look it up because despite the fact that they don't reference any plot points, they're like, yes, you guys grew a Frankenstein in your lab, and you know that Frankenstein, and was this your Frankenstein? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? So I had to stop and look it up. And so it is odd that you can watch this without seeing the original, but you just have to be aware there was an original, because there aren't really any plot points that come up. But they remind you constantly, hey, we're that lab that took care of that Frankenstein. But then I went and I looked it up. Apparently that's not even true. Because I thought, okay, all the people who were following in this film must have been from the original film. No, they're not. The people that were following are original characters for this one, except that the lead lady was in the original film, but as a different character. Because they wanted to make this as confusing as possible.
Well, they certainly achieved that.
Yeah. And to make it worse is that because this is an American and Japanese co-production, the lead actor guy is a guy from America. He was actually some actor, Russ Tamblyn, I think his name was, and he was from West Side Story, is what he was probably most famously known for. And so he's the guy that we're mostly following, and it's so weird because I think he's dubbed too, but I can't tell.
Yeah.
Because it does match his lip movements, but it's slightly off. And is that bad audio mixing or is it a dub?
I think he did say his lines in English, but then they dubbed over it again.
That's what I think they did. Or they did spaghetti western style, in which everybody on set just spoke their native language, and then they just dubbed the people who weren't speaking English. But I think you might be right. I think that they did just fully redub everybody, which might have worked for him, because I was looking up little facts about this, and the only real fact that I can find is that Russ Tamblyn did not want to be here. And apparently, he would just show up to the set and just be an asshole and would refuse to say his lines, and he would just say different lines that he wanted. And in my mind, I'm just like, okay, how does that work with the other actors in there who don't speak English, who I'm presumably, some of them probably didn't speak English, but they had their lines in Japanese memorized. Did they still just say their lines? And because they wouldn't know. Well, I mean, I'm assuming, you know what, no, that had a thing, and I just made reference to spaghetti westerns, and I know for a fact not everybody in there spoke Italian, but they still spoke their English lines in there, so yeah, I don't know how they did this film. But yeah, I would not be shocked if for some of those lines why it sounds dubbed to me, or more accurately looks dubbed because the lip movement doesn't quite match up. I wouldn't be shocked if they were like, no, fuck this guy. We're just gonna listen, we're already dubbing some of you guys. We're going to just dub him too and say the actual lines in here. Yeah, apparently he just sucked all around. But let's get into this actual film. The movie starts out with a boat at sea because this is a kaiju film in Japan. And it gets attacked by a giant squid, but then the squid gets attacked by a giant gargantuan. That's the best way to put it. It's a Bigfoot, which I was even going to wear a Bigfoot t-shirt for this, but then I sneezed all over it, so my apologies. It's allergy season, everybody. You'll probably be able to hear that in my throat. So, the monster attacks, and he takes out the squid, but then we see the guy who was on the boat trying to swim for safety, and the gargantuan is chasing him down, and that is the first thing that I really notice about the gargantuan compared to a lot of other kaijus. Most other kaijus don't really care about the humans. Yeah. They're just here to wreck stuff. They're here to walk through town, and the tiny little humans are just kind of there. Yeah. This kaiju is out for humans, and it actually is kind of creepy. That's the thing that I will say is probably the best thing about this film, is that when the green gargantuan is actually going out trying to, like, attack people, he's attacking people, and it actually feels, like, horrifying. He does not, we compared Godzilla in the last film to the atomic bomb. Well, more accurately, the movie in the last film compared Godzilla to the atomic bomb. But yeah, that's what it is. Godzilla is not out after humans. Godzilla is just a force in nature that's destroying. Imagine if an atomic bomb had a targeting system and it was chasing you down specifically. That's what this Gargantuan is. And yeah, there's like shots of the guy trying to swim away from it, and it's genuinely creepy. But then after that, we get a scene of it attacking an airport. And man, this is one of those things in which the film, it doesn't ever show you anything. But it goes a step beyond most kaiju films where, like, you'll just see somebody go like, no, and then that's it. Like, that's all you get of that person. You'll see somebody get grabbed by the Gargantuan and they're screaming, no, no, stop. And then, like, it, like, comes up close to its mouth, then it cuts away, and then it cuts back to the Gargantuan, and he's, like, licking his fingers, and, like, oh, and, like, I'm not joking about that. That's actually, like, a shot in here. And I remember both of us in that moment just went, oh, my God. Yeah, it's, like, it will hit you in the gut when this film wants to. However, there's large parts of this film that just, like, it feels like this film, it's full running time. This film feels like it could have been an hour long. They could have cut about half an hour out of this movie. Because there are moments in which they're like, all right, we figured out how to capture the Gargantuan. And then they just get like a long sequence of them setting everything up. And it feels like stretching. Like I mentioned that I didn't like the pacing in the original Godzilla because they just held on stuff for too long. But I also get the feeling that's just kind of how movies were back then. I've seen a lot of other movies back then that, yeah, they kind of were like moseying along at their own pace. This film, you totally get the feeling, no, we gotta hit a specific time, and there is not enough in the script to do that. So there are a lot of moments with like the military set everything up, and it's just like, all right, yeah, we kind of keep on going here, man. All right. But where the film really gets interesting is that everybody keeps telling these scientists, that's your Gargantuan. And they're like, no, that is not our Gargantuan. Our Gargantuan was friendly. He would never hurt anyone.
He doesn't eat people.
Yes, exactly. So everybody's like, well, what is it? All right, well, he just did it. It happened. You calling everybody here a liar? What are you doing? And also, so there's that mystery of like, all right, what happened to the Gargantuan? Also, why is it green all of a sudden? And also, why is this movie called War of the Gargantuans, plural? So yeah, I don't even feel bad spoiling this one. There's two Gargantuans, and it's shocking how they set that up, because it just happens. Like, they do set it up a bit, because, the scientist people are constantly going, that's not our Gargantuan, it couldn't happen like that. And then there's, like, a brief mention of, like, oh, we spotted one at sea, and it's also been spotted in the mountains, so, okay, they kind of reference that.
Yeah, and like, the scientists say, it's like, oh, but Frankenstein doesn't like the water, so...
Yeah, they mentioned that a whole lot in here, whereas this one is a pretty good swimmer. There comes a moment in which the Gargantuan is being attacked, he's being hit by the military, and oh no, it looks like he's finally defeated, although that's not an oh no moment, because he's a monster that's been eating people. But then, out of nowhere, the other Gargantuan jumps into the ring like it's a tag team match, and he frees the other Gargantuan, and he runs off into the mountains with it. And yeah, that was the original Gargantuan. And these two are like brothers. Yeah. And I kind of like this aspect of the film. It's that the green Gargantuan is an asshole. He just wants to eat people. He wants to wreck shit up. And the brown Gargantuan is like I'm sorry. Like, he's trying to get his drunk friend out of the party. Yeah. It's like, no, I'm sorry. I apologize. It's, listen, he's not normally like this. I'm going to get him home. It's okay. I'm sorry. You can send me the bill. It's all right. And I kind of enjoy that element because there are a few brief moments you see the two Gargantuans alone, and you do get the sense that the brown Gargantuan actually cares about the other one. So there is an emotional element to it. I kind of like that about this film. But then green Gargantuan's gonna be an asshole no matter what. And eventually there comes that moment where they do have to fight. He has to actually stop his brother. And there is some emotions in that. I do enjoy that. But they make this sound like this is a big knockdown, drag-out fight. It really isn't. No. actual fight of the movie is a very long extended sequence of the green Gargantuan trying to start shit with his brother, and the brown Gargantuan is just... That's pretty much it. It's just him saying, no, I don't want to do this. And then the green Gargantuan like tussles with him, and then he just goes, no, this isn't like you. You're better than this, man. Come on. Yeah, and it's kind of like the scene earlier with the military setting up, and it's just like, all right, this is going on forever. You never want to get to the climactic fight of your kaiju film and leave me, the audience member, going, man, this is taking a while. Is it just kind of this? Just kind of doing this over and over again? Like, I mean, there's a lot of kaiju films in which I've thought they kind of suck throughout the first 2/3, and then the final act of, like, the actual fight is what saves it. This one, there's stuff I like in the final fight, but it is like, all right, man. Kind of feels like there should actually be, like, a fight going on here. Like, I get the emotional implication. I get the emotional impact of it. The brown Gargantuan does not want to fight. But there needs to come a moment in which he actually fights. And it's just kind of like, all right, man, this is like, we get it. We understand this is painful for you. You don't want to do it. You've tried to talk your brother down like 10 times now. You got to throw a punch at some point in this. And I will say, they do tussle. They do throw each other into the buildings. And I got to give props to the set designers on this film. I got to give props to them. Because... you know, in a lot of kaiju films, the monster is so big, it's towering over everything, and it's stepping through the city and just breaking all the buildings. The two Gargantuans are basically like 50, 60 feet tall, so they're like the size of the building.
Yeah.
So they're not stepping on buildings. When they fight, they're actually being thrown into the buildings.
Right.
And it looks like these guys are taking a hit when they do that. When they throw each other into a building and you see the building collapse around them, it has a way bigger, no pun intended, but a way bigger impact than watching a normal kaiju film where they're stepping on the buildings.
It's like also like a lot of the like miniature like vehicles and everything is like they like the tanks and everything. It's like it's very detailed, honestly, and like they actually like show the tanks like firing everything. There's like little sparks and everything. So it's like that's honestly pretty impressive.
I gotta give a lot of respect to the people who designed the sets and the effects in this film. More so than I do in a lot of other giant monster films from this time period. Like you can sense, you don't get the sense that the actors really cared all that much. Like I mean, Russ Tamblyn being the main one, but a lot of the other ones, you know, I never want to come in here and say, like, anybody, like, yeah, they were just here for a paycheck or something. But Russ Tamblyn was definitely here for a paycheck. And he does kind of weigh the film down a bit. Like, you can just tell, like, man, he doesn't want to be here. And also, like, when you look at the script, as we mentioned, there's a lot of points which they just had to stretch this thing out to get a full runtime. Like, you do get a sense, at least some of the people behind the scenes on this, they were in a contract to put out another movie. They had to do it. But the people who actually did, like, the sets and the guys in the giant gargantuan outfits, like, they showed up to work. This was something they actually cared about, and they wanted to put, like, their whole effort into it.
And to be fair, that is what people go to see this movie for.
Yeah.
The problem is this movie focuses a lot on the other stuff.
I've always said this. People who go to the giant monster movies go to it for the giant monsters. However, it's impossible to have a giant monster movie that's just giant monsters for an hour and a half.
Right.
You need, like, an actual human in there. You need at least people who are explaining things that the audience can understand. You need that human element in there. And a lot of giant monster movies do not understand how to achieve that. Mm-hmm. I don't think this one knows how to achieve that. But I was actually genuinely interested in the giant monsters. The green one is legitimately terrifying. And the brown one, you kind of feel for him. You get where he's coming from, and it does add an emotional element to this that you don't get out of these movies that often.
Yeah, it's like, when I saw the green one, it almost had, like, the face almost looked like an Oni.
A little, I can see that.
So it's like, I was wondering if, like, that...
Wasn't there, like, I don't know this for certain, but I believe there's some kind of a Japanese legend about two Onis in the mountains.
Oh, yeah, that's right, the good one and who wanted to be friends with the humans and, like, his friend. It's like... So, like, basically...
It's kind of what this movie is. That's kind of cool.
But a very different ending compared to the story.
Okay, that's something else I got to point out about this. We saw this 2 weeks ago. But I've been thinking about it throughout those last 2 weeks so I could keep it fresh in my mind. as soon as this movie was over, I forgot what the ending is. I completely forgot what the ending is. We'll talk about it in the spoiler section. And by talking about it, you'll remind me of what this ending is.
Actually, I don't even think I remember it either.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's something I've been thinking about what I want to say about this when we eventually have the time to do this review over the past 2 weeks. And literally, like, from the day after we saw it, I was like, how did this movie end? I don't remember.
I think.
I remember them fighting. I remember the brown one constantly going, no, no. Did the brown one live? I don't think he did. I have no idea. Peach, how'd this one end? I wasn't paying attention. I was waiting for you to get done with dinner so I could eat it. Yeah, the dog's slightly off camera.
Yeah.
In case you guys are wondering what I'm staring at over there.
Yes, I'm petting her off screen right now. So.
Yes, to keep her calm. Yeah, so this movie, it's... I'm going to average it out to a B, and I'll be honest with you, I was going to give it much less. I was going to give it like a C+, but as we've been talking about, I was like, you know, the emotional element's good, the big green one is scary, but also, yeah, the sets are really damn good in this. The sets, all that's like, I remember when we were watching this, I was constantly stopping at like the airport scene and just going like, okay, we see him running and jumping in the ocean. Did they build a pool for him? Or was this like a little beach that they squared away? Like, how'd they do that? I was actually genuinely impressed with a lot of this. What would you give this?
Probably a B-. Yeah, it's like there's definitely like a lot of flaws in this movie, but like the practical effects and everything are really freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's, man, if you like giant monster movies, this is definitely worth watching. But if you're just one of those people that's like, I don't care about giant monster movies, but if it's a good movie, I'll go and see it. But yeah, I think that if what you care about is this era of films, then you've probably already seen this. But if you haven't, I would still recommend it. I do understand the cult following that it has. There's moments that did not leave an impact, moments that are stretched out way too thin. And again, I don't even know what happened at the ending of this. So that definitely is a negative I have to throw in there.
We might have.
I know people are going to say, well, it shouldn't be a negative if you didn't. Remember, neither of us did. And we were both staring there watching it. I think that says something.
It's like maybe like before spoilers, we should like watch like a clip of the ending so we know what happened.
I was watching someone else's review of this just to make sure that I had a refresher on. Also, speaking of the joke I made at the beginning of this film that you forgot, speaking of the bad pacing on this and how things are stretched out, there's a musical number in which they go to like some bar and there's just some American singer in there who had to have known someone in like the production or directing department of this. Like, she had to have had a favor that she called in. And she's singing a song that just goes, and the words get stuck in my throat, and the words get stuck in my throat, and it goes on and on. It's literally like, I don't want to say it's literally, because someone will go, it was actually only 2 minutes, you're exaggerating. It felt like 5. It really went on so much longer than it should have.
We were eating dinner while we were watching this movie, so I took the time to clean everything up.
Yeah, during that moment. So it could have been 5 minutes. It would not have taken you 5 minutes for that. So it must have only been like 2 minutes, but man, that's 2 minutes that we didn't need in this movie. So yeah, it's stuff like that that drags this down for me, is that there's moments that just drag this thing down. So yeah. Just to give you a warning on that. But yeah, that's it. Those are our thoughts. No spoiler section on this one, because we can't really do it. My apologies. But we are going to come back. Like I said, this is the least professional review show on the internet, and I take pride in that. But coming up next time, I was going to say, these guys are kind of like rip-off King Kongs. Let's do actual King Kong next time. I mentioned that we're going to do 8 films this month. I did not plan on this. But I went, okay, we're going to do the original Godzilla. I want to do War of the Gargantuans. And then I was like, all right, we're going to move ahead with the next one. Again, we're going to go into the 70s. And he said, oh, so we're just going to do a movie every decade? I went, no, we're not going to do. And then I stopped and I thought about it. I was like, wait a minute, we're doing 8 this month. 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s. We can literally do one from every decade.
Yep.
So that's just what we're going to do. So we're going to the 70s with a 1970s remake of King Kong. See you guys then.
Bye.
Bye.